Hello everyone, welcome. My name is BeoMulf, this is Alpha X, and man, oh man, this is a series CLEM vs ZEST, round of 8 of IEM Katowice semi-finals. Winner gets one step closer to the World Championship. Loser, well, they had a great run. They have to they get forced to knock out just a little bit sooner. But we should probably introduce our players here today, and spawning in the bottom left, in the red, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, he is ZEST. And his opponent in the upper right, the little corporal from Team Liquid, he is CLEM. And of course, in this series, well, CLEM, he had to fight through an absolute titan to get here. He 3-2'd Cyril after taking 2 games, and it looked like Cyril was going to come roaring back. It looked like Cyril had CLEM's number. He took games 3 and 4, and then in game number 5, CLEM showed his championship spirit and said, no, I've taken 2 games, I will take a third. Meanwhile, of course, ZEST had a dominant group stage. He did not have to play through the round of 12 like CLEM did, although, to be fair, CLEM also started his group stage extremely hot. And of course, then he cooled off. He finished the group stage with a 3-2 record, but he started that group stage 3-0, 6-0, so he was looking damn good. And then, unfortunately for him, he lost those last 2 series and did end up having to play in the round of 12, where we got one of the series of the year of CLEM versus Cyril. It will be casted later on. Actually, it may have been casted already. I'm not totally sure, but it either will be on the Alpha X channel or will come on up soon. That being said, though, now CLEM facing off of ZEST here. ZEST only lost to Estrella in his group stage, taking the entire group 4-1, losing 2-1 in Estrella in some pretty fun games. I don't know if those will get covered on this channel, but they're pretty fun. Make sure to go check them out on the ESL YouTube channel when those get posted eventually. But that is neither here nor there, because this is CLEM versus ZEST, the up-and-coming European Terran. For the first time in quite a while, Europe, the foreigner scene in general, has produced a Terran that can tango with the titans of Korean StarCraft. For the longest time, you had the 3 races and you had the 4th race, the Korean Terran. These players that did so much more with Terran than any other player possibly could, and as such, they won championships while the rest of the world fell behind. Yes, we had Patrick Bricks, we had Bunny come to the fore in 2016, 2017, something like that. We've had Masa and Vindicta and Future, and all of these players are good, but they're not quite at the level that we see Maru, that we see Innovation, that we see Byun, that we see the 4 Terran horsemen really show. So we're gonna have to see whether CLEM can continue showing that ability, because man, he has shown it thus far. Absolutely, taking out Cyril 3-2 is an achievement of mammoth proportions here, as now his Reaper will get taken out. There's no way that this Reaper will get out. I don't care how good you are, 3 Reapers, CLEM, and he is very good. But now with the 2 Adepts there boxing everything in, he got boxed himself into a corner. And now the Adepts have the chance to maybe get a little bit of damage done. But of course, there are 2 Marines in the bunker, 2 more rallying on in, and 4 Marines just barely beat 2 Adepts. Of course, with the SCVs getting pulled, with the rally coming on in, it's going to be totally fine. But now the Adept will shade itself out, of course. And behind this, of course, this is rather nice. ZEST, he's got a proxy Dark Shrine on the way, and what this means is any units that he can shave off from CLEM, whether he can get a couple Marines, anything he can do there is going to make his Dark Templar that much more powerful, because you've got to remember, oh, he's going to get a Mule too. This is really nice. Mules, yeah, they're not SCVs, they're not permanent mining, but they are worth 8 minerals a trip instead of 5. They're worth I think 250 odd minerals for their lifetime, if we take into account the fact that CLEM, of course, will pull the Mule off at the last bit of mining to make sure it's as efficient as possible. So worth about 250 minerals. That's expensive. That is a really nice pickup there early on. It will diminish the economy of our Terran and also make him more likely to maybe spend that extra mule when you are holding scans, because you want to get that money back that you didn't have. And that's all incredibly important, because CLEM, he's going to suffer from some Dark Templar. They're getting warped in now. There's a Raven on the way, but of course, the Raven's not here yet. We're going to have to see whether CLEM can actually deal with this. What do we have? 6, 7 Marines on the map and a tank. So these 2 DTs will not be able to just fight this army and clean it up. But look at this. ZEST already here, moving 1 DT into the natural, 1 DT into the main base here. And well, it looks like there is only one scan at the moment, so the DTs will continue to try to get something done here. Tank shelling away, so we're already seeing 4 SCVs go down, 4 or 5 SCVs go down here because there's just no detection in the main base. Not yet. Clem went for a Viking first instead of going immediately into that Raven, and 7 SCVs have gone down. No, of course, the Viking is done, but now Zest says, okay, well, it's a free tank, at least not yet. Now we're going to see the some more SCVs go on down here. But now the Raven has arrived, so that means this DT will be forced out, but 2 DTs for the cost of 10 SCVs. Zest is going to be more than happy with that. But more importantly, we're going to have to see exactly where he goes from here. What is his follow-up? Okay, charge will be the follow-up here. Makes a lot of sense. You're not going to get Blink out in time to deal with any sort of Zest or any sort of Clem counterattack. Chargeless are incredibly good at dealing with Terran pressure, dealing with Terran all-ins. But that charge is not going to be there in time. Yes, some DTs are going to get warped in defensively. We may see some... Yeah, we're going to see some Archons get warped in here defensively. But the Raven was miscontrolled. The Raven's just going to go down here. And that is so much offensive, defensive potential that is already going down. Now, the probes are going to get pulled to deal with this, but this is a lot of Marines. There's a tank here. There are 2 tanks here. Zest does not have quite enough to deal with this, at least not yet. It looks like he will lose his 3rd base to this pressure. The Marines don't have stem yet, sure, but they have more than... Actually, no. Do they have stem? No, they do not. They do not have stem yet, and that may be a problem later on. Stem not even getting started yet. But this push is being incredibly powerful, but the DTs are warping in. The scan is there, but it will be enough to kill off enough of these Marines. Enough of these Marines that Zest will be able to survive, even as he does lose this Stalker. And now the DT will force a second scan as it finds its way out of the first one. So maybe this 3rd base will go down, but Zest should be okay behind that. And we're going to see some charge loss on the way. Charge Loud Immortal will be the tech path that Zest is going to go for out of this, and I really do like this. That is such a good way of dealing with these small Terran armies. Immortals are so good at killing tanks, and they don't die to them all that much. And look at this. Zest warping in 1 Dark Templar at a time, saying, I don't think you have enough scans. You only have 2 bases. I'm just going to force you to spend all your scans, which A, is no mules. A, it's no mules. And B, you only have so many of them. Yeah, you may have some stored up, but now the DT will force Clem back. And yes, he got some damage done. Yes, he killed some workers. He killed 8 workers to be precise, and that's nice for Clem. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, Zest is up 7 workers. He is up notionally on tech. This DT has gotten so much damage done, even if at the end of the day it will not get anything. But this Immortal, though, it's a little bit far out, and the Immortal will go down. That is unfortunate here for Zest, but he's going to be okay with that because his 3rd base is up. He's able to continue warping in and getting aggression on the map here. And we're going to see a couple more charge lots warp in, as this is... Well, we're actually at 6 gates now, going up to a 7th. So that's a lot of charge lots that are going to get warped on in here. So Charge Lot Immortal Archon will be Zest's tech of choice. He is down 10 army supply for the moment, but that's not really going to matter here, as we're going to see that 7 charge lots warp in. An additional 14 army supply is going to join the army here of Zest. And there we go, even army supply. The one thing that Clem does have going for him, he will have stim and he will have combat shields for this next push. That being said, though, we only have 2 medevacs on the map, and Zest has to be careful that or Clem, I should say, has to be careful that he is not going to get out of position for this, as he already is. Zest warping in on the left-hand side, and Clem, he's halfway across the map. He's going to be forced into this position where he's thinking, do I attack? Do I go home? I don't really know, but the Protoss army is at my doorstep. Clem will be forced to stim on back, but by this point, he may very well lose this command center. At the very least, his economy will be shattered. And yes, does Clem have a surround coming on? Yes, he does, but does that really matter here? The command center getting targeted down. The missile turret starting to burn, and this army of Zest is just so damn powerful. More and more charge lots are going to get warped on in here. GG Zest is going to take game number 1. What a tour de force from Zest there in the first game in the series. Zest, of course, he went for a DT tech. It worked out really well. Clem said, to hell with this. All right, I'm going to go on into game 2. Or I should say I'm not going to go into game 2. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to just push with my 2 tanks and my Marines and my Raven and whatever I have, and I think I can kill your 3rd base. Equalize this game just a little. But unfortunately for Clem, that was not the case. In fact, Zest had more than enough. Warping in DTs 1 at a time, did a great job of spending all the scans, and eventually Clem had that hold without even losing his 3rd base. And now, well, with that, he was able to get on into that Charge Lot Immortal Archon tech that does so well with small Terran armies. And Clem, moving out on the map, was just really not able to find the damage he was looking abroad and took too much damage at home. And with those 2 things being said, Zest, he took game 1, but of course this is best of 5. We have more games. Game 2 will be on Lightshade. Let's get on into things. And here we are spawning in the upper left in the blue, down 1-0 from Team Liquid and France. Give it up for CLEM. And his opponent in the bottom right in the red, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, he is ZEST. So we have ZEST moving out on the map here with a rather quick probe, and oh, we're going to see him. What looks to be a max packs build coming on up here in this game. Number 2 is, of course, ZEST going for the warp or the gateway that will show up in the natural, and we're just gonna have to see whether CLEM is paying attention. As of right now, this looks to be a Reaper expand. We have the single gas, we have the barracks on the high ground, and Reaper expand is objectively terrible at dealing with this. There we go. Gateway is now on the way for ZEST, and CLEM has not seen anything yet. Of course, the Reaper, look at this. The barracks has even rallied across the map. Probe just gonna do normal probe things, harass the SCV just a little. Oh yeah, look, I'm just doing here. I'm scouting. I'm making sure that you're not doing anything crazy. CLEM, oh yeah, it's just a scouting probe. Well, there's a gateway on the way. And the max packs build can just end games really quickly if the Terran does not notice. If they try to build their command center on the low ground, that is actually just the worst case scenario. Okay, I do like this. This is a Marine first instead of the Reaper first. And that does give him a little bit more of an opportunity to handle this. Although, that being said, Reapers are, of course, a whole lot better at dealing with the early Zealots, but oh no, CLEM has not scouted this in the slightest. He has no idea that this is coming, so we're going to see those 2 pooled Zealots, and CLEM is going to have to deal with this in some way, but he's not really going to have what he needs, as there it is, Marine into a Reactor. This is the greediest build that CLEM can go for. In fact, iterations of this build often get a third command center about 2 minutes and 30 seconds into this game, so there we go. First Zealot is done, second Zealot getting chronoed out here, and I don't know whether CLEM... Oh, yeah. This is bad. We're going to get a proxy factory, so no even Hellions at home to deal with these first 2 Zealots. And CLEM, he has no idea this is coming. He will have to cancel this command center, and I don't know where he goes from here. Maybe he's going to get try to get some equalizing damage with his proxy factory, with what we presume to be a proxy Stargate. Maybe it's actually, it might be just a Widowmine lift on into the main base, but he's going to have to get some significant equalizing damage, because right now ZEST, he's even waiting until he gets the Stalker out. This is not going to be good. So Zealots will show their face now. There is 1 Marine to defend this. Okay, now there are 3 Marines to defend this, and yeah, Marines can out-micro a Zealot. They can do that just pretty nicely, but the Stalker here is the problem. CLEM going for a bit of a citizen's arrest as he does what he can to try to keep everything alive. Look how close to completion this command center is. So ZEST or CLEM will be able to complete that. And actually, for what it's worth, he's handling this rather well. More and more Marines are coming on out. 4 SCVs have gone down, but not the end of the world here, as now the bunker's ready. But of course, the Stalkers are coming out from the gateway, and the bunker does not defend against that gateway. So now we're just have more and more Stalkers coming out here, getting chronoed out. And ZEST is making so much damage with this, and he's just going to walk away. He says, okay, okay, CLEM, I have gotten 5 workers. I've delayed your command center. You have 1 Hellion in my main base. 1 Hellion does diddly squat. Because, of course, it takes 3 Hellion shots to kill off a probe. So we're going to see 1 probe go down immediately. But that's going to be just about it. Now there's a Twilight Council off of 1 gate and a Nexus coming down. ZEST supremely confident with this, as he has, of course, 3 Stalkers now. 3 Stalkers. They're approaching that 1 tap. I believe it's 4 Stalkers that 1 tap a worker. So they will just continue to just sit at the edge of the base and continue to kill more and more things. Now with 2 Hellions here, suddenly this is a bit more problematic for our red Ro8 player, as CLEM is looking for some way to fight his way back into this game, and he's getting some worker damage. Absolutely. 13 workers have died. Actually, this is starting to get rather significant. CLEM is up in workers by 4, and you've got to remember, the Ro8 player kind of always wants to be ahead of the Terran from a worker perspective. That being said, though, now CLEM, he has 10 army supply. He's going to float the factory back home, getting 15 workers. Actually did a really good job of equalizing this, as now the Hellion's going to drive on into the main base. Will not be all that successful. It's going to get, it's going to get 3 more workers, actually. So 18 total workers have died here. And GG ZEST is not worth playing anymore. Let's go on to game 3. CLEM is going to equalize this game and take the series to 1-1. So rather quick, short and sweet game there, game number 2. ZEST went for the max specs build, absolutely unscouted, but CLEM, he had the counter. The proxy factory did such a good job of dealing with what he was facing, and he just killed 20 workers. ZEST was like, ZEST did just not feel that he had done enough damage across the map, and he GG'd out And then, that means we're moving on to our third game in this series. Both players at 1-1. Both players vying for that dominant position that you get when you are on match point. Both players saying, I want to win this series. Of course they're saying they want to win this series. But putting yourself on match point gives you so much freedom, especially when it's not 2-2. You can throw out a weird build in game number 4, if that's the case. And it doesn't have to work. All it has to do is do something. Actually, well, it doesn't even have to do something. It can just set the stage for whatever build you're opting to go for in that 5th game, should you opt to lose game number 4. So we're going to have to see which player has that advantage, which player has that option. As now we're going to find ourselves in game number 3, Pillars of Gold. Let's go. And here we are, spawning in the bottom left, in the red, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, tied 1-1 in this series. He is ZEST. And his opponent in the upper right, in the blue, from Team Liquid, he is CLEM. And in this series, in games 1 and 2, we saw some rather quick games from both players. We saw CLEM manage to hold against the Max Packs build in game number 2 because his proxy factory, those random 2-3 Hellions, did such a good job of getting damage done. And ZEST, of course, he went for another aggressive build in game number 1. Couple Dark Templar running on in, and then CLEM realized, okay, maybe I've taken a little bit too much damage here. Let me go all in, and well, you warp in DTs 1 by 1, 4 scans. Eventually, they'll run out of scans, and you'll have DTs, and you will be able to hold. So we're going to have to see exactly what our players have planned for us here in this game number 3. Will it be another aggressive option from ZEST, or will we see something a little bit more middle of the road? As now the probe is scouting, and it's not proxying something. So now it looks like ZEST absolutely will not go for something crazy in this game, as we have a Cyber Expand coming in from ZEST, and CLEM, he's going for that stock standard Reaper Expand. So the game is probably going to go a little bit longer than the 4 minutes and 38 seconds that game 2 lasted. And I, for one, am here for it. ZEST has looked so good in this tournament so far, and in online cups, in everything leading up to Katowice. It really looks like he's turned on that next level. So I'm excited to see him make use of that in a longer game. As CLEM going for a bunker now behind the mineral line will not really be successful with that. ZEST with the probe will be able to scout that coming on in. So no Reaper bunker, which is of course just really annoying to fight it back. But again, salvaging a bunker, it costs like 15 minerals, something like that. CLEM, sure, would he want to spend that if he doesn't have to? No. But at the end of the day, not really going to be that big of a deal here. The Reaper just means it's going to be a little bit less annoying. Maybe get a little bit less scouting done. And ZEST, for his part, going for a Stargate here in this game number 3. As he realizes that CLEM is an aggressive Terran. That has got to be part of his prep, because CLEM is probably one of the fastest players on the planet right now. He is known for his multitasking, his ability to hit at the left and the right, to just do everything in what appears to be at the same time. Now, of course, we know he's not doing that, but man, if that's not what it looks like. So Phoenix will allow him to defend all of that. Of course, it will be an Oracle first, as ZEST wants that map control and wants to be able to maybe get a little bit damage done to his opponent. Now, in 2021, you really don't see Oracles get a ton of damage done to Terran players all that often. Now, if this Adept is able to get something done, maybe knock down a couple of these Marines, maybe, just maybe, the Oracle gets a little bit more done here. But looks like no, ZEST is already going to back up with that Adept. Says, okay, I just want the map control. I just want to be able to scout a little bit. It's going to be totally fine. So there we go. Oracle is now finding its way onto the other side of the map. CLEM, of course, will scout that with the Reaper, and this Oracle now really shouldn't get a whole lot done. We're going to have to see. Maybe it's going to get 2 or 3 SCVs. But that should be the extent of things. And now ZEST, Phoenix behind this. So we're going to have to see. We're going to see him just look to establish map control. And considering that we have a Widow Mine on the map, it looks like this is a 1-1-1 into kind of a Marine Widow Mine drop. Now, whether CLEM actually decides to go through with this now that it has been scouted, I don't really know. But there we go. It will be a Viking answer here, just with the Oracle, to shut this down once and for good. As now the Oracle looks like he's wanting to get 2 SCVs, maybe get a third, as there is no Widow Mine in the main base like there is in the natural, but now the Viking does pop. It's going to be totally fine here. Now we have the scouting Hellion and Reaper. They're going to try to find their way on into the main base. Will be unsuccessful. That's going to be totally fine. Now the Adepts, they're looking for this Hellion. Actually, it's going to do a really good job. Going to find its way behind the mineral line. And actually, okay, will it be able to get this probe? I don't think so. Yeah, the Adepts are here. But we have the Reaper. It's not going to be able to dive on into the natural, into the main base, get a full scout of things. But of course, the Phoenix have already been revealed. So that's not going to be anything new there for CLEM. And he's going to say, okay, I kind of know what you're doing. Maybe I can just get some worker kills. One worker will go down immediately. And it looks like, oh, CLEM's going to get 2 workers with this Reaper at 5 minutes into the game. That is a massive bounty for the first offensive unit that you built in the entire game that really does not have any sort of longevity in this game. So good going there from CLEM. It's not a lot of damage. When your opponent is 42, 44 workers, not a ton of damage here, but it's a moral victory. And considering how powerful ZEST has looked, I'm sure CLEM will take any bit of moral victory that he has in this game. As now ZEST turtling up with that third base. I shouldn't say turtling up, but adding a couple shield batteries, just making sure that he does not fall victim to any of the infamous kitchen sink all-ins that CLEM loves to go for. Kitchen sink pressures, I should say, as there is a third command center behind this, just about done. As now we have the Phoenix there on the other side of the map. The one Viking will go down immediately, and yes, the Cyclone does get a nice lock on, but nothing will go down. And ZEST, now that he's aware of this push, really should not let a whole lot of stuff happen to it, as the Phoenix are designed. It's just like a char slot opener. The Phoenix are here to prevent these early pushes from getting any sort of damage done. You lift all the tech units, you lift the Cyclones, you lift the Marines once the Cyclones go down, and your army just really is not able to fight all that much. There we go. The Widow Mine is here, but it's just going to get targeted down. And yes, we might see some Phoenix go down over the course of the defense of this offense. Yeah, sure, that's what we're going to call it. But now ZEST, he's moving across the map. He is up 11 army supply compared to his opponent. His opponent cannot really fight what he has, as there are a lot of Phoenix here on the map. The Cyclones are both going to get lifted here. Chargelo's getting on top of them, and there are just not enough Marines to kill off all of these Phoenix. And there, look at this. The Phoenix, it's going to keep killing stuff when it can, but now we're going to have all of the Vikings go down as well. And suddenly, CLEM has almost nothing here in the natural, so it's going to be, what, 8 slow Zealots, 3 Adepts, a Sentry, and a couple Phoenix. They're going to try to do game-ending damage here to CLEM. But CLEM, he's got a nice turtled up position here. SCV pull will keep him alive for the moment. We're just going to have to see how many SCVs do go down, as the tank will go down as well. But now the bunker is here. The bunker SCVs were not targeted down, and CLEM will be able to stabilize after losing 10 workers, but he's only down 10 workers compared to his opponent. And ZEST on 3 bases with Chrono. CLEM's not going to be too unhappy with that. Yeah, he's lost a lot of workers, and he's not happy with that whatsoever. But only being down 10, 14 workers against a 3-base opponent when you have 2 bases when they're a Protoss player and they expect to be ahead from economy from the very get-go. Yeah, CLEM, he's in a decent position in this game to survive. Maybe not to thrive, but at the very least to take his third base, to take the game a little bit longer, because you also got to remember here, CLEM has 1-1 on the way. His 1-1 is faster than his opponent's +1, so there will be this timing where his bio will be a whole lot more powerful than the bio of his opponent. Now the Phoenix, they're going to keep sharking around, doing what they can. We've lost, what is this, 5 Phoenix over the course of this game, so Phoenix, it feels like their time is maybe a little bit falling on. ZEST has stopped making them, as he only has 4 Phoenix on the map at the moment, and he will continue to lose them over the course of this game as they run out of hull damage, even if, of course, the shields do regenerate. So now, 6 gateways on the way here. ZEST moving into Chargelat, Immortal, Archon, Storm will be his composition in this game, as he does have 5 gases, actually 6 gases now. But, of course, no Robo Bay, nothing like that. So all the extra gas is going to go to a bunch of High Templar going on into Storm. Probably 1-1. After this, maybe a second Forge. And ZEST is going to look to push his advantage. He knows that he killed a lot of SCVs early on. He knows he has done tremendous damage to his opponent's economy. And he knows that CLEM's early push did not get a whole lot done. So what does that mean? It means that CLEM is probably ripe for a piling on here. For ZEST to push on in, maybe once he has Storm, maybe that's the timing he's going to go to look for, and looking just to pile on in here, say, CLEM, I don't want to give you a ton of time to recover. I know you're a scary late game beast. I know you're a scary player, but I've done damage to you. And I know if I wait long enough, you'll be able to recover from that. You'll be able to get onto your 4 bases. You'll be able to get up to 70 workers. You'll be able to get your upgrades in time. And all of these things will mean that it's going to be a lot harder for me to push my advantage. But if I can hit that third barrel of my attack, if I can hit that third barrel of my pressure when I get Storm, when I get +1, when I get all my charge slots, when I have my couple Immortals, or does he even have Immortals right now? He does not. Okay. But there we go. Immortal on the way. Blink on the way as well, but that Blink will not be all that useful in the short term. As 2 more Phoenix do go down, I'm going to lean on into you here. I'm going to try to continue to do more and more worker damage, pare your army down and down and down and down, because of course once CLEM breaks that like 150, 160 supply mark, this mass charge lot styles are not nearly as scary. Now of course looks like the War Prism here will be found by CLEM, or I guess the Widowmine, or the drop will be found by ZEST as well. So 6 one way, half dozen the other, but nothing's really going to go down. The War Prism's just going to keep sharking around here because Storm is done. So that is ZEST timing here. He has +1, he has Storm, +1 armor is on the way, and he's going to look to pile on in here, continue to do damage, and his army is terrifying. Those Storms on the right-hand side are going to be damn good. The army of CLEM on the right-hand side is melting. And yes, there are some Widowmines, and they're doing what they can, but the Stalkers are fighting. We're going to have 8, what's that, 11 charge lots getting warped on in here, and yes, the War Prism will go down, the one saving grace here for CLEM, but now it's SCVs trying to fight Archons. That is never going to be a good deal. 6 workers go down, 8, 9, 10 workers go down, because CLEM, he is stuck fighting a bunch of charge lots in his natural. He cannot connect his natural to his third base and actually come on in and help out the army, help out the SCVs there, so he loses 22 workers. Now ZEST with a 22 army supply lead in a wonderful position in this game to move on forward. But he's going to back up. He's going to say, wait, look, my +1 armor is about 2/3 of the way done, 3/4 of the way done. So is Blink. I have a Robo Bay on the way. I can get on into the next stage of my tech rather powerfully and just hit you again. But it looks like ZEST, he has 4 High Templar in that War Prism on the right-hand side. So we're going to see something we have not seen for a dog's age, as we're going to see some Storm drops coming on in here, as ZEST once again looks to do damage to his opponent. But CLEM, on the flip side, he has been able to get onto the map for the first time in 11 minutes, or I guess 6 minutes in this game, and we're going to see Widowmine drops trying to get something done, but the Widowmine's not well placed. The first one's not at the very least, and the second one, it's not going to be all that great either, as we're going to see 3 total workers go down for 2 Widowmines. That's not all that much. That's not all that valuable. That being said, though, CLEM has his 4th base on the way, producing 3 SCVs at a time, has done a very good job of building his SCV count back up, but does that even matter here? It does not. What in the world? What in the world killed that, I still don't know what killed that War Prism. The Widowmine did most of the damage, but was there a second Widowmine that got the other damage on it? I don't really know, but look at this, ZEST, he will lose 2 Immortals in the middle of the map here, as I guess that was a rally that was caught. And so, yes, ZEST got 16 workers, and that's massive, but look at this. CLEM's army on the right-hand side, it will find these Archons that were recalled, and the Archons should go down here before the charge let's really find their way on in, and it's only 2 Phoenix, so it's not really going to be a whole lot damage done here, as ZEST, or CLEM will be able to get most of this on out. We will not see the Widowmines go down, and now CLEM, he has a powerful army. It is 2-2 versus 1-1, and he's going to look to push in onto the 4th base, or he won't. Never mind. CLEM playing a little bit scared here, but also not really getting all that aggressive, not making those moves that you would really expect him to see him do if he felt that he was so far behind that he had to get damage done. So he's kind of in this middle path where he is playing like he's a little bit scared, because his opponent is more powerful, but also not really getting out on the map and making those moves that you would expect him to do to try to get back on into this game. And as a result, it looks like ZEST had a couple Widowmines run on into his base and kill 7 workers. So now ZEST on 56 workers, equal economy with his opponent, and his opponent is mules, so actually behind a little bit on economy here, but now ZEST has that double forge, has extended thermal lance on the way, has 2 Colossus, and he is going to be in a much better position to fight in about a minute's time as 2-2 completes, as he will have equal army supply with his opponent. But now we just have the Colossi sieging up just a little, doing what they can to remove these Widowmines from the map. And that's of course going to make this massive amount of charge slots able to get a little bit more damage done here, as there are 28 charge slots on the map, more and more getting warped in as well. And now CLEM, he's trying to do what he can to knock this 4th base up, but there's just not enough bio here. And with the continued charge lot warp-ins, this army, this little bit of Marauders will be forced back. Now, ZEST, he's looking for some Storms here, looking to do what he can to soften up his opponent's army before finding his way on in and continuing to do that ever-present damage. But look at this concave. We'll look at it in a second. There we go. Look at this concave here from CLEM. It's going to be a damn hard position to attack on into, as the Ghosts, well, the EMPs are going to be really nice, but look at this. The High Templar, they're not dropping the War Prism. Now they are. Storms on top of the army of CLEM here, and he's going to lose. He's only half his army is fighting at any given time. The EMPs have been exhausted, and once again, the chargelets will find their way on into the mineral line. SCVs have to get pulled once again, but CLEM, he's got a massive concave here. He has his rally coming on in from the... Oh, it looks like those are just SCVs coming in from the 4th base, but the Marauders on the right-hand side are doing God's work here, and it looks like Clem will be able to clean things up once again, but at the cost of 20 more workers. Clem only on 42 workers, but ZEST, in the meantime, looks like he'd last a couple more. He's only on 53 workers himself, so yes, Clem has lost 72 SCVs over the course of this game, but if you look at the resources lost, ZEST and Clem, they are within 7 resources of each other. Are you kidding me? In the course of this game, this is insane. But now ZEST, his 2-2 is done in 10 seconds, and that is going to be the next timing he's going to look to try to hit here, as he realizes that he most likely has had the better economy compared to his opponent over the course of this game. Yes, his main and his natural are starting to mine out, as is his 3rd, but for the time being, he's been on 4 bases longer than his opponent, and more importantly, he has had more workers. That being said, though, it is surprising that we see ZEST sitting on 57 workers, not taking that additional base, not continuing to get to advance his economic lead, not going up to 67, 75 workers that we see Protoss players like to do so much. But what ZEST has identified here is that his opponent is back against the ropes. His opponent is struggling to even make units, is struggling to advance in tech. Really, all he can do is just sit back and try to defend. And to Clem's credit, he has done a damn good job of defending this. But ZEST, he's got blood in his eyes at this point. He says, look, if I just keep trading like this, I will absolutely be able to win because I'm just going to have the better economy. But I'm not convinced he does it. Once again, ZEST is going to run on in here. But, oh, look at these EMPs. The charge slots are short all their shields. Now, the Storms are going to try to land. Actually, Storms on top of all of the Vikings, which means the Colossi are able to stand strong. Once again, charge slots getting on top of the mineral line here. But the Stalkers will be forced to blink on back once again. SCVs are getting pulled. There are no Archons here, of course. And the army from Clem coming on in from the natural is going to be damn powerful. One Colossus does go down. Second Colossus looks like it will be saved here. But the army of ZEST will be rebuffed once again. Clem up 40 army supply now. Yes, he lost 24 workers once again, but I'm not sure it matters at this point. Clem's army is powerful. It is in charge, and if he chooses to march across the map right now, I think he's going to be in a wonderful position to at least knock out the 4th base of ZEST. That being said, we have more and more warp pins. Immortals now will be the tech path of choice here. For ZEST, I happen to like that a good bit, as Immortals are going to fight really well against this Marauder-heavy army from our Terran player, because, well, you build a lot of Marauders to deal with the Colossus, to deal with the Stalkers, to deal with the Archons. So, Immortal Charge Lot, it absolutely deals with that tech path really well. As now we have the Colossus firing away here. ZEST taking a page out of Nina's book, but really will not get a whole lot done. But look at this, ZEST realizing that maybe, just maybe, he cannot break Clem within the next 2 minutes. He's going to have to take a 5th base. His main base, his natural base, his 3rd base, all mining out or close to it. So ZEST, he's effectively a 2-base Protoss. And yes, Clem's economy is in a terrible position as well, but at least he has mules. So until he fully mines out, he will be able to mine somewhat efficiently from this base here. So now we're going to see Storm go on in here, but Ghosts are tanky beasts, and they will be able to knock out that I-Templar rather easily. But now it looks like for the first time in, what, 10 minutes, Clem feels comfortable moving out on the map. And look at all these scans being used. These are not mules, by the way. So Clem, he's going to take a little bit of an economic hit for doing this, but he has to know where ZEST's army is. Is it safe to move out on the map? Can I get the concave that I'm looking for, or do I have to just go back and turtle at home? And it looks like Clem's estimation says, I got to turtle back at home. I got to keep surviving as long as I am able to keep surviving against the continued pressure of ZEST here in this game. I may have a chance. Now ZEST, though, he has his 5th base up and running just about now. There we go. +3 attack on the way here. And so his army will continue to advance, will continue to be more powerful. I would love to see ZEST add on in some disruptors in this game, as just add that a 3rd level of splash. Force Clem to split back a little bit more. But no, it's just charge slots. It is 35 charge slots on the map. That is just a damn large amount of charge slots here. But this is a massive concave from Clem. This is not an army that ZEST can take lightly. And now ZEST, he's just going to look around for maybe a different engagement angle. Maybe trying to punish the 5th base, or excuse me, the 4th base of Clem. But now it looks like the main base of Clem. He tried to get his 5th base once. It was canceled with one of the attacks of ZEST. But he will lift his main base off to the 5th base. And now he's mining once again. He is actually he's got to be somewhat ahead of ZEST. It looks like it's just about even right now, but I expect with the mules to get dropped, he's going to be somewhat ahead of that. But ZEST, realizing that this is probably what's happening, says, okay, I got to punish this. I cannot let Clem take another base here. Chargeless getting on top of things, and this is another 20-odd workers that are going to get targeted down here. And look at this. We're going to have one High Templar just sitting here waiting for the storm, but look at all those feedbacks, actually. you know what? I like that. Actually, that's a really good move. It means there are going to be less EMPs over the army of ZEST. And now CLEM, he's going to try to take this fight. But for the first time in quite a while, ZEST is maxed out. Still on 57 workers, which means he has 140 to 140 army supply here. But CLEM, sharking around for that concave, will not be able to find it. But this is so many charge lots. They are going to be 3-2 charge lots rather soon, but not quite yet, as the EMPs are going to start to land here. Vikings are firing at the one remaining Colossus, but the Colossus is not the story of this game. Actually, the Colossus is going to go down, and it's just charge lots against a 2-2 massive stemmed Bioforce here. Charge lots do not fight whatsoever here. Put the flank from the backhand side. Maybe that's going to be enough here for ZEST to take this fight, but it looks like it will not be enough. The charge lots, the Stalkers, they're going to blink on forward, but ZEST, his rally's going to find its way on in, and once the chaff is gone, the wheat will fall. ZEST, his army falling apart once again here. CLEM, once again, taking a fantastic fight, even as he does lose more workers. But you got to remember, he has 5 bases, he has 3 orbitals, he has the mules that he needs, and now ZEST's 5th base is vulnerable. CLEM taking a dynamic fight here, and he has +3 attack on the way as well, so he will have upgrade parity within the next minute. Actually, next 30 seconds, let's be real here. So now ZEST, desperate, realizes that he has to do something to force his opponent back once again, but Widowmines and Rally are in position. CLEM, he's now going to stem back and try to do things. Meanwhile, Widowmine drop above the ledge here of ZEST's 5th base. 9 workers will go down, and now ZEST only on 48 workers. And you got to remember here, ZEST has not been rebuilding workers this entire game. Actually, he's going to be short. Is he mining gas? Yeah, neither ZEST nor CLEM are mining very much gas at all. But it looks like ZEST. Okay, now he's gonna take the gases on his 5th base. But look at these snipes. We're gonna see some Stalkers go down, some Zealots go down. But ZEST finally attacking in more than one place at any given time. Looks like it's gonna be a massive charge lot warp in, run by into the net. Actually, no, that's more than just a couple charge lots, couple Archons, couple Stalkers just trying to do what damage they can. But really, that's production. And yes, you don't want to lose production as a Terran player, but it's not economy. That is the thing that CLEM has been so hard to come by over the course of this game. Now, the army supply differential that CLEM was able to take advantage of over the last minute or so, it has evened out once again. As ZEST, he had that trough. He was mining a whole lot more for a little bit. It looks like he mined about 500 more resources than CLEM over that last 5-minute stretch. So, he was able to turn that into 5 Zealots. He was able to turn that into an equalized army supply. And now, once again, we're roughly even. It is 3-2 versus 3-2 in upgrades here. Roughly equal army supplies, roughly equal economies, 43 to 44 workers. The storm flank's going to be massive, though, and so much of the army of CLEM is going to get softened up in the extreme. But you got to remember, this is bio against just a massive amount of charge lots. Charge lots are not all that good, but I love this move here from ZEST, going for 2 warp prisms. So even if CLEM is able to snipe down 1, he will still have the 2nd for warp ins, for micro, for all of those good things. And again, those storm flanks were massive. There are just not a lot of medevacs on the map here. It's only 6, so the healing is actually rather limited in supply for ZEST, or for CLEM. And look at this. ZEST, once again, he's realized at this point in the game that he cannot just attack in any one given place and hope that CLEM breaks. CLEM has survived so much longer than literally any other Terran player in the world, and he's looking damn good at it. He has his 5th base. He has even economy somehow in a game that he has lost 127 workers. Hold that thought. We have an engagement coming in. Once again, the storm will be nice, but there are enough medevacs now, and CLEM, he's just going to be able to take the fight here. Actually, snipe off a High Templar as well. But look at this. CLEM, he does have his +3 armor on the way here, as he realized that he has stabilized. He's on 43, 44 workers. He has 5 bases. We may see him float off his natural to go take a 6th, functionally a 6th base rather soon. But CLEM has that army supply lead. CLEM, somehow over the course of this game, is almost in a winning position. His opponent has a low-tech army. Charge lots are not good when the Terran's above 160 supply, especially when you're down in army supply. Nice blink there from ZEST, making sure he doesn't lose anything to those, Widowmines. Now, 2nd Widowmine, 2 Widowmine drops will go on into this 5th base. Not really going to be all that successful, though. And ZEST has not taken a 6th base. Somehow, both players just really feel like they're all in this game, and I mean, that's fair. Both players are 44 workers, but I cannot help but question ZEST's decision to not go above 57 workers earlier on in the game. It feels like he really could have just expanded, taken the map while putting pressure on CLEM, and this game would not be nearly as amazing as it is. But thank you, ZEST, for not expanding your economy like that, for just trying to break your opponent, because it is giving us a crazy game here, as that Stormflate's going to do so much damage here for Clem, but he still has a massive flank. His army supply is still leading. The charge lots are just not going to take all that great of a fight here. Archons are now going to go forward, but the Archons are roughly unsupported. Clem holds once again, now up 40 army supply, now up 30 army supply, but yes, we have warpins. More and more Stalkers are getting warped on in here as ZEST has gone back into this Colossus tech that was so powerful earlier on in the game that Clem did such a good job of countering. And now we only have 2 Vikings on the map here, but Clem, he's taking some damn good fights. The Archons are getting shaved off, and it's just Stalkers fighting Bio. That is not what ZEST wants. The Observer will go down as well, so he will not have that easy vision on Widow Mines, on where the army of Clem is, so Clem can get that better engagement that he is looking for. And now Clem, he has +3 armor. It's just about done. There we go, done in 14 seconds, and his bio will be that much better than the gateway forces of ZEST in this game. And ZEST, he's running out of money. He only is mining off of 1 base at this point. Clem took his 5th base later, so that means there's more money at the base, even if he is muling this rather heavily. But now Clem looking for this engagement once again. Notice that his Widow Mines are further back, so the Colossus don't just kill them, so the charge let eat them. And now Clem, he's looking for this round. There are more Vikings here now, which means the Colossus are not nearly as powerful. Vikings are just going to target down the War Prism, but the second War Prism will show up, and now most of the Vikings have gone down, which means these Colossi are able to fire that much more quickly, more powerfully. And now the Vikings do go down. Once again, Marauders at the front. Marines, they are not taking the fight until just now. The SCVs are going to get pulled here. Clem in a last-ditch effort trying to hold, but we have Warpins on Warpins on Warpins, but the Bio's going to get on top of everything here. The question, though, ZEST with this Warp Prism Micro, does he have what he needs to hold? It looks like with this Warp Prism Micro, it is damn incredible. The bio of Clem is falling. The 3 Colossus, they're standing strong, and there is nothing here for Clem. Not anymore. It's just a couple of Medivacs and a prayer. The bio for Clem, it is dead. They cannot contest the 3 Colossi. The 5th base of Clem will finally get broken, as will 18 SCVs. Clem only on 25 workers. What can he do in this game? But it looks like, look at this, Clem has moved his natural to the upper left base, so he does still technically have that 5th base mining. He has 25 SCVs, but realistically, there's not a lot of mineral patches in his 3rd or in his 4th, so not that terrible. In fact, he's still mining more than his opponent, so as massive as that was for ZEST to break the base, and it was big, don't get me wrong, Clem is still in this game. He has better upgrades. He is building Vikings 3 at a time now, so he will be able to deal with the War Prism and the Colossi. But he has to deal with this army. He cannot afford to lose the mining at this new 5th base. But it looks like he's just going to give it up here. So he's going to be a little bit late on the reaction. And the SCVs will be able to kind of escape. Actually, you know, it looks like, yeah, the SCVs will be able to escape here. But look at this ZEST. He's going to recall to his 5th base. So he's going to lose these 2 Stalkers. But this is a really interesting decision from ZEST. I fully expected him to just take that fight. I mean, he has a powerful army, but no. He says, okay, I don't really care about taking the straight-up fight anymore. They have been too hard over the course of this game. Clem has been just too good at taking the fight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find this other 5th base, what was the main base here from Clem, and I'm just going to kill it off. Yeah, there are no SCVs there, but the orbitals are what have been the thorn in the side here of ZEST over the course of this game. And now we have Clem rotating over. He has to be careful to not lose any Vikings, but he's going to lose 1 immediately. Second one's going to go down as well. There we go. And third one's going to be heavily damaged. So Clem, he's not really going to have a good answer against these 2 Colossi. So now ZEST is going to run on in here. 1 Colossus will get saved. There we go. Nice War Prism Micro here from ZEST once again. ZEST, though, I think it's going to do 1 more warp in, and then it will be go time. Actually, it's not like he has any money to warp in, as both players mining barely anything, only 1,000 minerals a minute here. ZEST, long distance mining. Clem only mining off of 1 base, off of 2 orbitals, by the way, so he does not have the massive mule count he had earlier. And ZEST looks like he has snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, from the jaws of defeat, from the jaws of victory, as this game has been legitimately insane for the last 28 minutes. Both players, ZEST and Clem, have been at the edge of victory, the edge of defeat here. Both players slapping into these, punching, throwing haymakers against their opponent over and over again, and now ZEST, he's doing what he can to just shut down the position here on the map here from Clem, but ZEST's going to take this fight. Clem, not with the best splits as of yet. He does not have the best concave, but he's going to split backwards, once again, kite backwards, trying to do what he can, as we're going to have 1 more warp in here from ZEST. 2 Archons, 4 Zealots, and that's going to be all that he has, as there's a Zealot run by on into this last mining base here of Clem. Only 4 workers will go down, but ZEST, he has 43 workers. Clem has 17. Yes, that's kind of all you need when you have this few mining bases. But oh no, the medevac will go down, and GG ZEST snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, victory from the jaws of defeat in this game number 3 in what is by far the game of the tournament thus far. What a game there from CLEM, from ZEST. My goodness. So now we have ZEST here sitting at 2-1. After taking a game that he could have lost, he could have won. Both players could have absolutely won that game. ZEST, probably the only player that wins the game in that situation, but also probably the only player that lets it go there. Only had 57 workers for such a long period of that game, as he just tried to kill his opponent over and over and over again. Well, when that happens, eventually, you kind of run out of money. And CLEM, he was so close to making that happen. But now, ZEST has that 2-1 lead, and man, I hope Liquid has good coaches. Because if I'm CLEM after that game number 3, I am mentally broken, and I'm hoping he's not. Because I want to see this series go to game 5 after how insane that game number 3 was. But game number 4. Game number 4 will be on Death Aura here. ZEST, of course, he has the 2-1 lead. Let's get on into things in game number 4. Here we are spawning in the bottom right in the blue of the Little Corporal, his tournament life on the line here from Team Liquid. He's CLEM. And his opponent in the upper left in the red, taking one of the most insane games I have ever seen from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He is ZEST. So realistically, I mean, if I'm CLEM and I lose that game, I am absolutely shattered. If I go back and look at that game, I'm even more so, because CLEM had so many winning opportunities there. I think if he moves out after he takes one of those fights and he has those brief 40 army supply leads, 30 army supply leads, he's absolutely able to knock out that 4th base of ZEST. And then ZEST is in a terrible economic position because he has not been expanding, he has not been building probes over the entirety of that game, and CLEM has been. CLEM lost something like 150 SCVs over the course of that game, but he was always rebuilding them. He was always able to reestablish his economy, slim as it was. So that means he was able to keep making insane hold after insane hold. And now, well, ZEST, he won that game by the skin of his teeth, finally able to knock out that 5th base of CLEM through a little bit of mispositioning there through a great fight. And then ZEST, because of that and that fact alone, was able to take game number 4. So we're going to have to see what the players have in store for us here, as it's a Nexus Expand coming on up from our Dragon Phoenix Gaming player. So he realized that he can beat CLEM in a macro game even if it is 28 minutes of insanity. Look at this CLEM. He's going for something a little bit spicy here in this game number 4. It's not Proxy Marauders, but it is still Concussive Shell Marauders here, and if ZEST is not ready for this, he will absolutely take a lot of damage. These Marauders, of course, once they tag a unit from ZEST, that unit is dead. So all you do here is you sit on top of your ramp, you get a shield battery, and you are fine. But if ZEST is not aware of this fact, he's going to be rather unhappy. But ZEST, for his part, he is placing that Twilight Council in a little bit of a weird position. But anyway, now we have this Adept. We'll find Spy on the high ground, and that is one dead Adept here. Actually, no. ZEST realizes that there are too many Marauders here on the map, so we should see a shield battery go down here. But no, the Adepts. I love this move from ZEST. Actually, he realizes that these. Oh, never mind. No, he's not going to let him complete. I was going to say he realizes that there's no way these Adepts get a whole lot done, so he's just going to shade past, and he's going to try to get damage done to the mineral line of CLEM. But no, that's not what's going to happen here. As now we have a Stalker getting warped on in, or I guess built on in. Warp Gate is not done yet. So these 2 Adepts and the Stalker will be the attempted hold. It is only 2 Marauders and a Marine. It's not really the end of the day. Actually, the Marauders, they're just going to try to target this Stalker down immediately. And the Stalkers goes down, but so does the Marine. And now with the Adepts, they're just going to be able to shade on top of these Marauders. And one Marauder will go down, so this is really not the best trade here for Clem, as cool as it is. And there we go, Dark Shrine is on the way. That's what happens when you put your Twilight Council in a weird spot. It's most likely a Dark Shrine. That's exactly what ZEST was going for in this game, as he's looking to close out this series with a bang, because... Oh, actually, I don't know how you can close out the series with a bang after how Game 3 went. That was the bang. Anything after that has got to be a whimper. But now the Dark Shrine just about done here. Warp Prism now on the way. It's going to go across the map, and of course the Dark Shrine will be done right as the Warp Prism finds its way right outside of the natural of Clem. But Clem, does he have any inkling that this is happening? Not yet, but of course he has +1 on the way. Stim is on the way, so he's going to go for a powerful Stim timing out of this. Stim Concussive Shell with a bunch of Marauders and Marines actually is going to be really powerful, as it's a 2 barracks timing. Not the 3 barracks timing that one might expect, but it's just going to be a lot of Stim bio off of 2 barracks. Of course, no starport on the way. Factory is only halfway done. No natural on the way here. Clem, this is kind of an all-in position for him. But of course, we're going to have to see whether he has saved some scans, because now we're going to have the Warp Prisms go on into the main base. I believe Clem did scout that, but now he will scout it for real. Going to do what he can to maybe target this Warp Prism down, but the DT is actually going to cause a little bit of havoc here. But look at this. We have a we have a missile turret in the natural. DT not really getting a whole lot done here. Scan on in the main base. DT will be able to kill everything off, though. And oh no, Clem. Oh, it looks like the DT was killed off, though. Oh, yeah, SCV killed it off. So only losing 3 workers there. But now we have what looks like an Archon drop coming in from ZEST, and that is a bit of a ballsy play. Now, granted, there is no starport on the map here, so it's a little bit less scary, but Clem will find this. And actually, yeah, the army's a little bit overstimmed. So Clem, he's just losing all of his Marines to this. And I really like this, of course. ZEST, he's targeting the Marines, not the Marauders, because, well, the Marines will die a whole lot faster than the Marauders will. So ZEST taking a really nice trade in this game thus far. If we look at resources lost, Clem, he's a little bit further behind. But he also has worker parity with a Protoss player that has a 3rd base on the way. Actually, 3rd base is done. So that's never a good situation when you're the Protoss player. When you have 3 bases, your opponent has 2. You have access to Chrono, your opponent hasn't. And you're equal on workers. Especially when you've killed some workers of your opponent, too. And this seems to be a trend that ZEST has been falling victim to over the course of these games, as he's made early aggression work, but it has not seen quite the advantage that one would have expected from how impactful it appeared to be. But now we have +1 armor on the way. 3rd base on the way here for Clem, as he realizes that maybe he can't just go and get super aggressive here. As apparently I managed to turn off the observer. But anyway, that drop on in the main base will not get... We'll get something done, but recall will be forced as the Warp Prism does go down. But now we have Blink Stalkers on the way, Immortals on the way here, +1 as well, as ZEST is just looking to build another powerful bruiser mid-game armies. We have more and more gateways on the way here. No Robo Bay, not yet, but we also do not have Charge, so it's interesting we're seeing Blink here with the tech path that ZEST has decided to go for at this point. But he does have 6 gas, so I would expect to see a Robo Bay sooner rather than later as he gets on in further into this into the tech of this game. Now Clem's drop here, it's not going to get anything done. Will it go down those Stalkers? They will have enough damage. Clem not reacting quick enough in time here. And the drop will get taken off because, hey, there's an observer sitting right outside the natural of Clem. And that means he's able, or yeah, that means ZEST is able to see every single drop that's going to find its way out on the map here from Clem. And ZEST will be prepared for all of it. Look at these. The Stalkers in a wonderful position. They're going to find this drop as well. Actually, no, Clem is on top of this time. He's not going to lose anything. But the Stalkers, look at this. They will try to track this down anyways. And yes, Clem's not going to lose his medevac, but he's also not going to get any damage done with it. There we go. Charge is now on the way. Warp Prism on the way as we have... What is that? We're going up to 9 total gateways here. Templar Archives on the way. So ZEST really likes this Charge Lad Immortal Archon style with Storm against Clem in particular, because this is not a standard PvT build. It looks like it's worked decently well against ZEST. Just look at this. 5 Stalkers, 6 Stalkers on a run by. Just trying to get as much SCVs as they can. At the very least, they're going to get the... No, they won't get the missile turret, but they will be able to blink out and escape here. Although, oh, look, the army of Clem will be able to tag 2 of them with concussive shells done this early. That means these Stalkers will die. Of course, any Stalker that's tagged with blink on cooldown does die. So that's going to be a pretty nice thing here for Clem. He's going to go for Widowmine drop on into the 3rd base, but it's just going to get blinked upon and killed immediately. The question, though, is are there Stalkers in the natural? We have the Warpin coming on in. Clem's going to look to drop this, but He will not be successful. Meanwhile, Army of Clem here out in front. He's going to burrow these Widow Mines, but 2 of them will get targeted down nearly immediately. The Stalkers, they're going to do a good job. And the Widow Mine drop in the main base. Looks like it's not going to get... Oh, actually, well, good job, Clem. 3 workers will go down, which is, it's not a ton, but oh, look at this too. The army of ZEST kind of fighting on into these Widow Mines that he doesn't want to fight on into, so all the Archons go down, but these force fields are going to be dynamite here. The army of ZEST is fighting so damn well. And he's going to be able to defend this. I think, actually, no, but the army of ZEST is only fighting half the army of ZEST is only fighting at any given point. So now ZEST is going to try to rally on in here, but his army supply is now more equal, and Clem, as has been the trend in the series, has an upgrade lead. But now, of course, his armory is a little bit slow, so ZEST will be able to catch up with that upgrade lead by the time that the armory is complete. But we see 4 Archons on the way here, so ZEST, he is getting ready for a rather massive attack in this game. You do not build Archons in this game, in any game, unless you're planning on doing something with them. Otherwise, you would much rather spend that gas elsewhere. So now 4 Archons on the way. We're going to see another warp in of charge lots, most likely, as ZEST, look at this. He has lured the army of Clem away from the beating hearts of the Terran infrastructure. So now ZEST is going to find his way on into the natural, into the 3rd base here of Clem. The 4th base will certainly get canceled. The question, though, is how much more damage does get done here. As, look at this, Clem, he's got a good concave, though. The question, is it enough? As now he's going to be forced to kind of backward through the Widow Mine field. So most of the Stalkers, or excuse me, most of the charge lots will go down. And ZEST, he's going to be forced back once again. This army from Clem is better upgraded still for another 20 seconds. And he will be able to continue taking this fight as he kites himself back on into the middle line, back into this choke of the Stalkers. They're going to blink forward, but it's not going to be enough. Clem, he's taking a damn good fight once again, as now he has this natural surround between his rally and his army. But the other way of saying this, of course, is that ZEST has been able to cut off the rally from the main fight, and this means that the army of Clem will be unreinforced for the time being, as it looks like a couple medevacs will get targeted down as well as Clem misrallies them. So ZEST actually in a dominant position in this game as he continues to kite forward, to kite backwards. But look at this, the 4th base, excuse me, the 3rd base of Clem is going to be forced to lift. 23, 24 workers go down, and the Archon has been doing God's work in the natural. So much work, so much has gone down here. Beel's going to get dropped in the natural, though. Maybe that's going to give Clem the economy he needs, as he will not lose his 3rd base, but he will lose 30 workers. And look at this storm. It is nearing completion here, as we have 4 High Templar now in that Warp Prism. ZEST is going to let them build up enough energy so he can hit the storm flank of his life, the storm flank that will move him on in to the semi-finals. Questions, though, whether he will be able to hit it, whether Clem will be able to split in time. These are all important questions that we do not yet know the answer to. But Clem, he is certainly against the ropes here. Yeah, he was in a bad economic position in the previous game, but it was never as bad as this, not this early on. So ZEST, he's going to back up. He's going to say, look, I have +2 halfway done. I have a 4th base on the way. I'm not going to make the mistake that I made in game number 3. I'm going to go above 57 workers. I'm going to be able to mine off of my 4th base. I'm going to leverage that economic lead into a further economic lead. And this tells Clem, okay, I need to move out on the map here. I cannot let this 4th base go up unpunished. ZEST, he's not going to make the same mistake twice. I got to do something with this, but this is not a position that Clem wants to fight on into here. Now, the Widow Mines will burrow up here, but these storms are going to be absolutely freaking massive. ZEST, you got it. He's just going to blink on forward. The army here from Clem is falling apart, and ZEST, he's going to find his way. He's going to find a capital position, a pull position on here into the natural. War and more charges getting warped on here. In here, the Stalkers, they're going to do what they can to cut things off. Blinking back, the Widow Mines are going to get nothing done. And GG, good luck. Clem, he's going to fall out. ZEST, he's going to punch his ticket to the semifinals.